Everybody, welcome back. We're doing another Marvel Future Revolution video. Are we talking to the GOAT right now? The greatest of all time Dark Zone player, specifically getting those bosses. We got Mamba with us here today, who put up, I mean, look, if you put up more points than this guy in Dark Zone, I want to see it. Put it in the comments below. I need a screenshot, so come to the Discord and link below. I need to see points higher than this guy, because otherwise, Mamba's got it, right? Wanna be like my Mamba? I don't know, maybe. So if you're new to the channel, we're gonna talk to Mamba. Did some major butt kicking in Dark Zone this past week. Congratulations to him. We're gonna just basically talk, right? So come check that out. We'll see what he says about his efforts and all those sorts of things. If you're new to the channel, check out the Discord link in the description below. Hammer down like buttons, click notification bells, and let's see what Mamba's got to say.
Bring me WolverThor!
Recording? All right, so we got Mamba here. I mentioned in the intro that had quite the Dark Zone run. First, I want to congratulate you, I guess, quote-unquote, virtual person, I suppose. So, you know, I can only imagine, like, the effort that took. You know, we were talking a little bit, and, you know, we were chasing you. I was part of the team that was trying to get somebody up at the top, so I knew the effort and saw it firsthand how you just kept, you know, getting higher and higher scores and just like these, I'm like, oh my lord, this is insane. So congratulations. I can only imagine that was an impressive effort, or I saw the impressive effort. But I did want to say before anything, congratulations to what you did. So you wearing that title proudly?
Yeah, of course. Thank you, first of all. Yeah, I mean, all credit goes to, I mean, both Multiverse and the Wrath Alliance. They both helped out like a ton during this push. And honestly, even you guys too, like you guys kept us on our toes like the entire time. We were just pushing us to keep going further and further, you know?
Yeah, sometimes that competition can be nice, you know what I mean? Where it's, if there's nobody pushing you a little bit, it's kind of like, all right, we're good, we're gonna do this. And it's like, oh, these people are a little bit closer to us. You know what, we need to step our game up, right? And I'm sure you guys, were you feeling that a little bit? Because I know from our side, we definitely at times are like, wait a minute, who are these people beating us? Like, what is going on here? You know, and it's like, how do we get better? How do we get better?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I was honestly like hoping like towards the beginning of the week, like when we were trying out the strategy and everything, like after the first day, we realized like, oh wow, we can get a pretty big score with this. Mm-hmm. And once I was kind of hoping that you guys would kind of just like back off, like, oh, like these guys have like such a high score, I don't know if we can catch up to them, kind of thing, so that I could kind of relax, because it was a pretty big time commitment and everything for throughout the week.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, so how do you feel the week after? Because I can only imagine how much time that took, but like, how are you feeling? Are you just exhausted?
I mean, a little bit. Like the whole week of that is just kind of like, it's super exhausting, you know. I'd say on average I'd spend like about 2 hours instead of the 1 in DZ.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty exhausting. Like I 100% would not do that again.
That's what I was just gonna ask you. Would you ever do it again?
Oh no, definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about that, I mean, because we started talking about that too, as you know, as we started figuring out how it was working, and you know, I was like, I can't commit to that. If somebody else wants to, more power to them. Like that's all them. I'm like, I'm here to help during this time if somebody wants it, but outside of that, like, you know, maybe talk to me on the weekend a little bit, and you know, maybe I can do a little bit more, but besides that, like, no way. Yeah, so like. Anyway, that's impressive, and I kind of thought that at that point you would say, like, I don't know, if you were saying you were gonna do it again, I was like, all right. And it's funny, I don't know if you've looked at the Dark Zone rankings. I'm gonna pull this up behind us. I haven't looked today, but I looked yesterday a little bit, and it looks like everybody's sort of like hungover from last week. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like, I mean, I don't remember what our scores were after, you know, what's today, Tuesday, right? You know, going into the end of day 2, but I'm like, I feel like they were higher. Like everybody was getting, you know, between 8 and 13 or 14K. And like, you know, the high scores are anywhere from like 14 to 15, just shy of 16K after basically 2 days. And I'm like, okay, yeah, everybody seems to be just kind of like, yeah, I'm just not doing a lot this week. And
Yeah, we're kind of just doing a relaxing run this whole week. A lot of us are pushing alts to get that 5-star card and everything, the 10,000 points.
Yeah,
So.
I'm all about that game. Not gonna lie. Like, I've got my Captain Marvel in there too, where it's just like I'll try to come in for a couple cards early, off the primes to see if I can get some, top 3, and then after that I'll try to switch back depending how much damage we have, so that we can kind of go through bosses and stuff like that. But if we've got enough people there, I'll definitely do exactly what you're saying, because those cards, I think I'm on my, I don't know, at least my 3rd alt to do it. So my 4th character to try to get that 5th card, because those are really valuable. So, but anyway, to that point.
They really are.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's fodder, right?
Oh, yeah. You need so much of that in this game.
It's crazy. It is legit crazy. So not to tangent on that too much, but yeah, I'm very much seeing the effect. Like last night when we were playing, I'm just like, people are like, what zone are we doing? What are we doing? I'm like, we're just like chilling. Like, I don't know. Like, I just go ask people who are in there. I'm like, somebody might be running stuff. I don't really know. They're like, oh. And then even when we were in there, we're like, so where are we going? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if you guys have the same calls, but like we're northwest, which is northwest of Fountain. We're Fountain. They're like, oh, but so-and-so's bottom right. I'm like, okay, who cares? Like, I don't care. So it was nice, actually. It was sort of a just chill, no stress. So while I'm thinking of this just for a second, and I didn't bring this up before, but I'm curious, like, I asked my alliance this because someone else brought it up, but if there was a purge week, and what I mean by that is like no holds barred, like just purge rules, right? The movie The Purge. And just like, there's no zones, there's no times. Whoever wants to do whatever they want to do, whatever to do. What's your immediate reaction to that? You think that's a good idea or a bad idea? Honest answer. And if it's the worst idea in the world, that's fine. My wife tells me all the time how I've got terrible ideas.
No, I mean, honestly, that kind of sounds a little fun. Are you talking about like just like straight like PvP kind of purge thing?
I mean, if that's what people want. But basically say, hey, to all alliances everywhere, like, look, we're not claiming a zone this week. We're all like, if everyone's on board with this, there are no quote, because we have semi-truces, no right? Yeah, we're kind of trying to be all respectful to each other so that we can, I'll say have peace, and not have drama, because that sort of sucks, and we want like a nice community as best we can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like I was, especially after last week, I'm like, why don't we just do a purge week where like there's no rules. If somebody wants to fight in Dark Zone, great, and there's still 3 PvE sections if somebody's really super annoyed, and they can go play in there if they want. But
yeah, that honestly sounds like a lot of fun to me, honestly. Like, I feel like PvP is super fun. These alliance wars that just came out have been super fun to compete in and everything. And just having like multiple alliances in one zone in DZ that would just make it like even more fun.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, well, we'll see if I can start pitching that a little bit more. But you'll have to DM me if you think people would be onto that. So back to your DZ score though, do you think you'll ever score, and as we're talking here, do you think you're ever gonna top that score?
I do not. I definitely think I could have gotten a lot higher than that score, but I do not think I can top that score personally. I'm not sure if I can commit the time again for another week of that.
Yeah, I mean, it is sort of crazy where if you just really think about it, I mean, I wonder, I'm not even sure, while you think like that you probably could have gotten higher, do you think that there's somebody out there that might actually be willing to push the threshold on that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I just pulled up the score just now, where it's this, you can see it's, 99,000. And I remember you and I were talking a little bit where it was sort of, you're like, I was so close. And you think, what do you think you could have capped out at?
So on my final day, I got a score of like almost 16,000 on the day, and that was my best day out of the whole week. And I think if I would have scored that amount every week or every single day of the week, I probably would have hit like maybe 105 to 110 range. I was really trying to hit the 100K mark towards the end. Yeah,
that would have been straight up crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Like that, if you would have hit 100K, I mean, you were close. I mean, you were like 3 primes away, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Just 3 primes and I'm there.
I mean, that's super sick. So how much? Yeah, so you mentioned 110. That's pretty impressive, about 16K a day. So the question that probably everyone wants to ask, and that I will ask you, and we talked a little bit about this, but share what you're willing to, but what can you tell us about the efforts that you made to be able to do that well?
So what we kind of did in the whole like what our strategy pretty much was basically just like the whole alliance just basically feeding me and only me primes. So the primes would spawn, and then they would either type it into the alliance chat, or we would join voice, and they would call them out. And they would say, "Hey, there's a prime in this zone," and then I would go in and I would just pretty much just like melt the boss with the alliance. And I mean, you kind of have to have a pretty high DPS in order to rank higher in these primes. But I would come in and I would kill the boss, and then I would leave DZ, wait for the next call out, and we just kind of had multiple people in like PvE zones too that would just like, hey, got a prime over here if you want to come tap it, and that was kind of it, you know.
Yeah,
just
no, that's
primes the whole time.
I mean, and that's the sort of thing, and we talked about this a little bit, where, you know, when you said it was pretty easy to sort of figure out, and that's exactly what we ended up doing as an alliance, is we looked at your score, looked at how many people you killed, and we're like, there's no way he's doing this outside of just killing primes. He has to be just killing primes. And so, you know, and it's a great strategy that, like you mentioned earlier, takes so much commitment. You've got to have an alliance behind you, or a group of people behind you that are willing to do those call outs, like you said, so that you can kind of go in, you know, in whatever, it's a Discord chat or a chat in game, or, you know, you're in voice or whatever it might be. And, you know, you sort of get in there for those points. And I still can't believe just the fact that, like, you were able to, and I remember thinking this early in the week, is like, there's no way he can't keep doing all of these time slots and doing this. This is crazy. And you just kept doing it. I'm like, this dude's gonna like push it, you know. And at one point we had some hiccups during one of our runs, and I was just like, let's just keep pushing. Like, I want to push and you know, some of the people are like, why this doesn't, and I'm like, I want to push this. Like, we should push until the end. Like, why not? You know what I mean? And again, I'm going to give you kudos forever on this, but I was so impressed just being there. And, you know, as much as it sucks not to be, you know, if you're not first, you're last type of mentality, like I like to win. We all like to win. I got to give credit when it's due. And so again, massive kudos to you in that strategy, you know, to multiverse as well. I mean, like, obviously, like you mentioned, it took a huge alliance. I mean, so a question for you here, like, I mean, do you guys sort of like, I mean, does it take a lot of coaxing, or did they get you to do it, or like, how did you, I mean, because look, I love my alliance, but at times I'm like, I got stuff I got to do. Like, how did you have to work through those sort of things?
Well, I mean, usually we run at a certain time with the alliance, and honestly, it really wasn't like, it wasn't any different for the alliance. I mean, the alliance had to like kind of like lay off a bit on the primes to like let me get in there in time to hit them. Oh yeah, But for them, it was kind of just like a normal run, you know, just kind of like holding off on primes, which took a lot of effort, you know. Like, the alliance definitely had to like set back on a lot of their points in order for me to like hit these scores and everything. But yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, it's all credit to the alliance. The alliance is like 100% the reason that we got this scores. It's nothing to do with just me.
Well, I mean, that is awesome. And we definitely want to shout out his alliance, specifically his multiverse. They did come together to help him get that. You can see Skywalker also in that same alliance with a high score, and I think Jubilation's pretty much, she's up there pretty high. Well, I say that as a Storm. I actually don't know if Jubilation's male or female, but I say that, I always end up doing that with a character in game. If it's a Storm, I call it a she. But yeah, and I think Jubilation is even towards the top of what we've got now. So, you know, you guys are clearly doing, you know, pretty well in that game mode, whether you're pushing for something or not, you know. So, you know, again, credit to you guys. I mentioned it earlier. I just, you know, I don't know. I'll keep saying it because I just think that you've done a pretty solid job there.
Multiverse organizes Dark Zone very well. Like, they really do.
Yeah. So let's see what else we got here. So, you know, I don't have any other specific questions, but is there anything else that you want to share? Shout outs to anybody, you know, just, you know.
Actually, yeah, I want to shout out Skywalker. He was pretty much with me almost the entire time when we were doing these pushes, because we needed to like help like with the DPS and everything. So he would be coming in there with me to help damage these primes and everything. Him and Typhon, they were there calling out almost the whole entire time. So I want to give 2 quick shout outs to them too. They were a really big part of it.
That's awesome. And don't, you know, I meant to say this earlier for yourself as well when you were talking about the damage on primes. I will, because we went in we being X-Force took a couple people into a couple of those PvE zones to try to race you for those. and it was hard. We had some hardcore, and I'm like, this dude is legit. Like, he's got a PvE spec that is off the chain. Like, I remember, I don't remember when it was during the week, but I got to share this, and you might not even notice, but this one boss went down, I swear, in like 2 seconds, because there was a bunch of people there. You guys, I think we had 2 or 3 people there, and I swear you hit 10 million, and I'm like, his crit must be like 6 or 7 million. And so I guess that is my last question for you is, what's the highest Black Widow crit you've gotten on a PvE boss in Dark Zone?
On a PvE boss in Dark Zone, my highest has been 8 million.
Damn! Honestly, that is crazy, dude. That is
Widow
amazing.
has a huge advantage. Whenever like these bosses are going down in like 2 seconds, I just like Widow just has a huge advantage with that snipe and then the concentrated fire.
Yep.
Just both of those combined get like over 10, 12 million every time. So it's like,
that is honestly sick. I'm gonna keep hitting you up for some PvE build advice, straight up. Like, and maybe that's another video I'm gonna pull you out for and just be like, all right, let's talk about Black Widow and PvE. You know what I mean? Because like 8 million, that's amazing. I want to see, we're talking your cards, your build, like all the different things you got specialized to focus PvE, because I guarantee there are people out there for that. So anybody who's watching the channel, we'll see if we can get Mamba back for that for sure, because that is some impressive damage. So I just want to say again, thank you for coming by. Thank you for taking the, time out of your night to, talk with me, to go over this, to share with everybody. Again, before we head out, anything else before we get out? I know you said Skywalker, shout out, and Typhon.
No, I mean, nothing else. Cool. The Wrath, shout out the Wrath Alliance also. Wrath was helping us out in the PvE zones to DPS bosses also.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, and congratulations again. For everybody watching the video, thanks for stopping by. If you want to check out the Discord link in the description below, hammer down like buttons, click notification bells, or subscribe. We appreciate you. And until next time, hope you have a wonderful day.